when borrowing gets tough, right? Like when mortgage rates go up, that rents would come down based on the fact that maybe, actually, I don't know, man. That's where we're going next, right? Like this idea that there is, interest rates are going up. That means that generally means we're headed for recessionary times. I would guess that could lead to a drop in rent prices. What do you say?
When mortgage interest rates rise, historically, it's the prices, not really the rents, but the rents too, but it's the prices that rise, the prices of real estate, which is completely counterintuitive. I mean, anyone has to easily make the hunch that, oh, when mortgage rates go up, well, obviously that impedes affordability, so prices have got to come down, right? But no, typically, not always, but typically, it's just the opposite that happens. In fact, mortgage rates don't really have all that much to do with the capital prices of a property. And in fact, if you want to pull up the chart that supports this shortly, Pablo, this is remarkable. So what we're looking at here is the last 9 times mortgage rates increased by 1% or more. What happened to home prices? So you're seeing home prices plotted, and each of those 9 plots, it's happened 9 times since 1994, 9 times therefore in the last 28 years, mortgage rates have increased 1% or more. And what's happened with prices each of those 9 times? So each one of those lines represents price movement. And what you'll notice is 7 of the last 9 times that mortgage interest rates rose substantially, home prices rose right alongside them. And this is a real head scratcher for some people. It really understates what I said earlier, that oftentimes a change in one factor doesn't result in the same change that you would think. And maybe you're still thinking, well, wait a second. In what kind of upside down world would higher mortgage interest rates correlate with higher home prices? Well, you're looking at it right now, today. In America, for almost 2 years, mortgage interest rates have rose way high. They've doubled. And what have home prices done? They have rose way high, maybe 25% in the past 2 years. So it happened again. Again, 7 of the last 9 times that mortgage interest rates increased 1% or more, home prices rose 7 of 9 times. Now, mortgage rates have risen so much this time. They have about doubled since they bottomed out around 2.7% in January of 2021, that I don't know the prices can keep going up. I think they're just going to stay pretty stable here for the next year or so. But you might still be wondering, well, how can this happen? Or why would that happen? And we need to think about what happens when rates rise and the Fed pushes up rates. The Fed usually pushes up rates to cool off a hot economy. The Fed usually raises rates when employment is really high and people feel stable about their jobs and there's good GDP growth. People don't make purchase decisions based on mortgage rates as much as they do their life situation. You know, most people that buy homes are primary residence buyers, so they're buying for emotional reasons more so than what mortgage interest rates are. Mortgage interest rates certainly matter to principal home buyers, which moves home prices for the entire market. But more emotional things matter more than that. Say that someone wants to move or buy a home to be closer to an ailing parent, or someone has marriage and children and they want to move to be in a certain school district. So oftentimes it's these emotional reasons that trump the financial ones. And when does someone buy a home? Someone buys a home when they feel stable in their job. And if rates are rising, again, I said the economy was good, people generally tend to feel stable in their job. So the counterintuitive part is that 7 of the last 9 times that mortgage rates rose substantially, home prices rose too. And that's just part of the reason why. And it is completely paradoxical.
Completely paradoxical, right? One thinks, or at least realtors will tell you, right, that if mortgage rates are going up, like you better buy your home now, or realtors will tell you that you can't get as much home for the same amount of money with mortgage rates going up, and they're right? So yep. You would think that would then make people think, well, if I'm not going to get as much money, I'm going to sit in the sidelines and I'm not going to buy a home yet. But to your point, right, these home purchases, generally people are buying homes, not your average investors, right? We're buying homes as real estate investments that are risk mitigated by the 5 profit centers, and we're investing in stuff like that. But the majority of data of home sales comes from emotional decisions, right? People buy homes when they have a kid and they need another room. They buy homes when they are moving to take care of an ailing parent, like you said, or another kind of like life thing that is an externality that doesn't necessarily correlate to the market and the market trends and homes going up. It's generally not an opportunistic buy for most people buying a home, is kind of what you're saying.
Right. For primary residence buying, which is the majority of this market that we're talking about here, which again, move prices for you as a real estate investor that might want to buy a single family rental home. It's that feelings trump facts.
There you go. So history trumps hunches and feelings trump facts when it comes to home prices and mortgage rates. The other thing that I think of when I look at this chart, right? So we're looking at all of these mortgage rates going up, and 7 out of 9 of the times that it's happened, home prices continue to go up. The only 2 times that it happened was 2007, 2008, right? So the Great Recession reminds me of this recession fallacy that we've talked about a couple of times, this idea that we've been conditioned because last time that we hit a recession, home prices went down. But the truth of the matter is that's really only happened one other time in history since the Great Depression. This idea that when we hit a recession, housing prices go down most of the time. And one of the reasons we got into the Great Recession is because housing is so rock solid that it tends to go up no matter what, or at least stay stable, right? Like not drop unless there's this like crazy cocktail of things that happen in the Great Recession. And that's not really what we're headed towards right now.
That is such a good observation. Yes, you happen to notice that 2007 and 2008 were the only 2 times in the last 20 years that when mortgage interest rates rose, house prices fell. And that was due to exceptional circumstances about 15 years ago when loans were poorly underwritten. Anyone could get a loan. There was a glut of housing supply. People couldn't afford their payments when their teaser rates reset and so on. That's the only time that happened. That's a very good observation that you made there. And of course, we're in a very opposite place today. The prospect of a housing price crash today is low. We actually had a supply crash about 2.5 years ago, which helped support prices and hedge us against a price crash, a drop in the supply of homes. That's resulted in a drop of the sales in homes. We have fewer transactions now, and these things actually hedge against a price crash. So I think prices could soften up some more. Lawrence Yun, the chief economist with the National Association of Realtors, you probably see him quoted out there a lot. And I kind of filter what he says because the NAR, they're incentivized to promote home ownership. But me and a number of other economists agree with him when he recently said that next year for 2023, he doesn't see that home prices could appreciate more than 5% nationally or drop more than 5% nationally. I think they're going to stay in a pretty stable zone. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that homeowners are in better shape today. There aren't distressed sellers that need to make a fire sale. Homeowners have record equity today. They don't want to walk away from that. To go back to the mortgage loan underwriting, their mortgage loan was very responsibly underwritten so that they do have assets and credit so that they can pay that mortgage. And there's kind of this lock-in effect. People are locked in at such low mortgage interest rates that oftentimes they don't want to give up that home unless, like I said earlier, for emotional reasons, they feel like they have to. 3/8 of homeowners today don't have any mortgage at all. And then among the group that does have a mortgage, okay, so those other 5/8, that group, 85% have a mortgage rate of 5% or less.